Hot Tip Tuesday. Today I have been gathering up information to have a video on China markers versus paint markers. My last video was this girl, and I used only Sharpie products. And just to do a quick recap, I did some China markers. I had this big fatty Magnum. I have some paint pens and some regular Sharpies of varying thicknesses. And I got a bunch of questions coming in, so I just wanted to do my Hot Tip Tuesday on really highlighting the China marker and what the heck that is. The first question I had was, how do you sharpen it? And this was from YouTube, and so I will answer that first and foremost. There's this little, first of all, China markers are wax pencils, really. They're not markers at all. And they come with a little string. Other people make them besides Sharpie. It's not exclusive to Sharpie product. This one's just happened to be. So you take this little string, and as you can see down this pencil, there's like, I don't know if you can see me turn my light off. I think it might be too hard to see, but there's like little striations in there. Anyways, you pull down the string. I always have to use my teeth to get it started. I really do. Okay, so then you pull it down, and then you just peel the paper off like so. These are used in construction a lot because they write over everything. It's sort of like, it reminds me of a Stabilo All because they write over everything. They write over glass and glossy surfaces, wood, hello. You see that? So they're very useful because you can write over everything. They sort of leave behind that wax residual, and that is how they make marks. And even the whites, is super opaque, which is fantastic if you want things to show up. And white, as we all know, is kind of a slippery beast, and it's hard to get things that are white that are really opaque. So that basically is the China marker. They're also used in stores, use them, you know, I know Goodwill uses them because they can mark off the price tags on certain things. So they don't come in a huge variety of colors, maybe about 6. They have white, black, blue, red, I think maybe like a yellow and a green, and that's about it. So you have limited color palette, but they have sort of a limited usage too. You can use like a file sharpener to get these to a point. I never do that. I just use them as is because I like to use them for shading. And I love to use them on my toned paper. And specifically, I've had a lot of questions. My second question is, what is that toned paper that I'm always using? I have a lot of videos that show me using this toned paper. And my favorite one is this B paper company. This is Brown Recycled Rough Sketch. It really has like a nice, it's like basically a grocery bag cut into like the perfect size. I think this is 9 by 12. And it just has like a nice tooth to it that I really enjoy working on. And yeah, so that's my favorite. I have a link to all of my favorite products on my website, KarenCampbellartist.com/supplies. And there I have links to all my favorite books and my favorite supplies, and you can actually go and find clickable links to all of these products. And I only list products that are genuinely my favorite. I'm not just listing random things and hoping that you click off of them. Okay, and that brings me to, those are my first two questions. The third question I had was, can you explain the difference between the white Sharpie and the China markers that you use? So the white Sharpie that I use is this water-based Sharpie. Now these come in oil-based as well. So here's an oil-based Sharpie. A lot of times you can find them, it'll have a stripper on the bottom as well. It'll say oil-based. It's pink, I believe, and this one says water-based. Let me see if I can show you. The reason I use the water-based is the oil-based is because it's oil-based. It tends to get clogged up in this mechanism. It's like a spray paint can in there, and it doesn't flow as nicely as you can see. It's also not as opaque, I find. It also has that like kind of toxic smell. So there's like, I can't even get this to work consistently. And so there's actually a kind of a bunch of reasons that I don't enjoy the oil-based. The water-based I also like because it comes in different nib points. This one is like so well worn and loved. I use these all the time. But look how opaque that is. I mean, it's just striking. It flows much better. I use them a lot. And these are also equivalent. These contain acrylic paint. And these are equivalent, I think, in terms of quality to the Posca pens, which are also actually more and more widely available. I used to only be able to get these on Amazon, and now I find them in my local Jerry's Artarama, which, yay! These Sharpies, water-based Sharpies, are hard to find. You can find them in that link that I just mentioned on my website, but you know where else I find them in person is actually Walgreens, believe it or not, which is super random, but that's a hot tip for you right there. So I cannot find them in AC Moore. I can't find them in a lot of places, but I find them in Walgreens. And look how nice and opaque that paint is. So that's why I always reach for my water-based Sharpie. Okay, next question. What's the purpose of using them versus paints? For me personally, they're fun. They're just fun. Paint pens in general are fun. That's why, and they're easy to use. They also, for me personally, satisfy the drawer in me versus the painter in me. So I love to draw and I love to paint. And sometimes using these paint pens is kind of like I'm drawing and painting all at once. So it's a little magical. So it's just personal preference. And also it makes you have like a much more targeted application, right? The brushes can be unpredictable and messy, and if you make a wrong move, but with a pen or a marker, you can get right on in there, and there's very little room for error. So that's why I like them. Next questions. Do they blend with any paper or any other products? I'm assuming that means that was asking about the China markers. They don't really blend. As a matter of fact, where's my paper? But I like them because they are great for doing sort of shadow, especially on this tone paper. So that's like medium pressure. And then this is pressing down hard. So you can get a wide range of, and there's pressing down light. So when I love to do these faces, no, they don't blend with other things. They actually sit on top because they're wax, and you can do the paint over them, but they're kind of a one-stop shop in and of themselves. And again, you can vary the pressure just by pushing down harder or softer as you go. And no, they don't move. They're permanent. They might smear like a teeny tiny bit, but really they're kind of just stuck there. So these are fantastic questions, and these are all from my Facebook group, Awesome Art School with Karen Campbell. Okay, let's see. Can you provide a link to the markers and the Sharpies? So yes, I can. Those are again on my website, KarenCampbellArtist.com/supplies. Yeah. You can also find these China markers I think I got these at AC Moore, but you can also find them online. And these, I think you can also even find these at like Home Depot, because like I said, they're popular amongst carpenters and guys writing on all sorts of different surfaces. And then I just wanted to highlight real quickly the difference. Why the last question was, why do you use these different, oh, they're like boyfriend, girlfriend. Why are you using the different ones together? And I think it's because when I use the China markers, it is a very soft effect. Like, she was done exclusively in China markers, and it's a very overall soft, subdued effect. When I'm using the paint markers combined with the Sharpies, and they do have black in the paint markers as well, which I've also used, it's a much bolder, striking effect, as you can see. And a lot of times what I like to do, and so this is sort of all, this is not very bold, so if I wanted to like punch this up a little bit, I would go in with my marker, and you can see by just a touch of my, if I wanted to make things really, really pop, that's when I go in with my paint versus just the China marker. So it's just a different look, and it's a much more powerful and striking look. And so I love using them together, because if you have the China markers as your bottom layers, right, you get a soft underlayer, and then you can really punch up the top layers and the highlights using the marker, and it's like a real dramatic effect, like you can see. And every time you want to add more drama, you just go in and punch it up with your paint pens on top. So yeah, I love doing this kind of work. It's really quick and really satisfying. Working on toned paper gives you the mid-tone of your flesh. So she's in the middle, and then all you play with is the deep, dark shadows. Working with your, again, I like to use my China markers to give those shadows. Okay. And it's soft, 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 soft. And then if you want to push down, it's a little bit more dramatic, right? Maybe get some eyelashes in here. And again, I don't sharpen, but what I do is I kind of twist this as I draw to get the point. So I sort of sharpen as I draw. So we can just push down. Will give us a little bit more emphasis here. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so I'm just pushing down just harder to give that emphasis. And then when I want to really go in for the power bold move, that is when I reach for my Sharpie pen. Now, if I wanted to keep her soft, again, you can just push down harder with the white China marker, and you can still get dramatic effects. So I love how opaque this China marker is. So you could really you could skip the acrylic paint if you wanted to, and just vary your hand pressure, which is amazing. And already that's very, very striking. If you want to take it to the next level, grab your paint pen and maybe just do, like, you know, a couple quick highlights. And get some like serious drama going. And these will sit over what you got going on your wax as well. So yeah, and there's the different levels of drama that you can get with just, look at that, just literally 3 materials. So I hope that answers all your questions. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to pop them in the comments. I can always do another Hot Tip Tuesday quickie just to answer those couple quick questions, or I will just go ahead and answer you in the comments section as well. If you're doing any projects like these, I would love to see them. You can just put them in, you can join our Facebook group at, again, it's just Awesome Art School with Karen Campbell. And yeah, I would love, got these little cuties. I would love to see your toned paper products. So thanks for watching, and I will see you again this week, and then again on Tuesday for my Hot Tip Tuesday. Thanks, guys. Bye. Don't forget to share this video and hit the subscribe and the little bell to be notified every time I have new videos every single week.